I am making this video to show how I do the modifications of the Granny Spiked My Ripple blanket. One of my modifications is that I start and end my rows in a different spot. The other modification is the placement of the spike stitches. They are different than the original pattern. And the first row of each new color, because I do 2 rows of each color, the first row has spike stitches with the exception of the first 2 rows of the blanket, and the second row has no spikes. The only exception is the peaks. All the peaks have stitches in every row except for the first 2 rows. So the way I do it is I actually do the foundation single crochet to start it. I would highly recommend you look up how to do foundation single crochet and do it this way. I feel like, especially with this blanket, this first corner looks so much better when you're doing the foundation single crochet versus chaining, where you'll get kind of a rounded corner if you chain. But if you do a foundation single crochet as your foundation, then you're going to do multiples of 18 plus 1. That's how many stitches you're going to want. If you're doing a chain to start, just a regular chain, you want multiples of 18 plus 3. So first I'm going to show you how to do it if you do a regular chain. And I've got here 21 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 21 chains. That's 18 plus 3. And what you're going to do is you're going to do 3 double crochet in the 6th chain from the hook. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to do your first 3 double crochet in that 6th chain from the hook. So here's 1, 2, 3. There's your 3 double crochet in the 6th chain from the hook. Then you're going to skip 2 and do 3 double crochet in the next chain. So that's pretty much the only difference between doing the chaining for the beginning or doing the foundation single crochet. Is this first group is going to go in the 6th chain from the hook. Okay, but that was just to demonstrate that. If you do the foundation single crochet, you're going to do, like I said, multiples of 18 plus 1. And I've got 37 foundation single crochet here because this is the one I'm going to do my swatch with. And if you're doing the foundation single crochet, then after you do your 37th stitch, you're going to chain 3, and that represents your first double crochet, which is in there. Skip these 2 stitches and do 3 double crochet right there in this next stitch. So there's your first group. And then you're going to skip 2 and do 3 double crochet again. So now you have 2 groups of 3 double crochet. And this is the rest of the pattern is going to be the exact same whether you're doing the foundation single crochet or the chaining foundation. You're going to skip 2 again, and this time you're going to do a peak, which consists of 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the same space. So there's and there it is. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the same space. And then we're going to skip 2 and do another 3 double crochet group. So here's 1, 2, 3, and then skip 2 again and do another group of 3 double crochet. Okay. Now this time you have your peak and then 2 groups of 3 double crochet, and now you're going to do a valley by skipping 5 stitches. There's your 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. And in the 6th stitch, you're going to go and do 3 double crochet. And that creates your valley. Now we're going to skip 2 again and do 3 double crochet, so then that, and now we're going to skip 2 again and do our peak, which is 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Okay, and then we're gonna, oops, I gotta detangle. There we go. We're gonna skip 2 again and do 3 double crochet in the next one. 1, 2, 3. Skip 2 again and do 3 double crochet again. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to skip 2, and in the last chain, we're just going to double crochet. Do 1 double crochet. That was round number 1. Row 1. Now, turn your work, and you can either chain 3, which would count as your first double crochet, or what I like to do is a chainless starting double crochet, and that counts as my first double crochet. And we're going to skip that whole group, and in this space right between the 2 groups, the first 2 groups, we're going to do 3 double crochet in the space. 1, 2, 3. And then in the next space, we're going to do another 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. And if you, now we're going to do another regular peak, which is 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. There we go, another peak. And then in the next space, 3 double crochet, the next space, 3 double crochet, and now we've come to our valley here. Oh crap. Oh man. Sorry about that, guys. Dropped my camera. Okay, so there's our valley right there. And we're going to skip that space right there. So we have a peak here and 1, 2 groups of 3 double crochet, skip a space, and in the next space do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, oops, 3, and there's our next row, the valley of the next row. Okay, and then in the next space we're going to do 3 double crochet, and then we're at the peak again, so we're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Okay, in the next space we're going to do 3 double crochet, in the next space we're going to do 3 double crochet. Okay, and now what we have left is 3 double crochet, and then your first chain 3 here. You're going to double crochet in the top of that chain 3. And that's the end of round 2. And now I change colors here. So I'm going to cut it, fasten it off, and I'm going to turn it over and attach my new color. So I'm going to put my hook in that first stitch, and I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. And I just kind of weave that in as I work it, just so it's slightly secure. And I'll weave it in better later. So now, this is row 3. This is the first row where you're going to start doing the spike stitches. So what you're going to do is you're going to do 1 double crochet regular way. And then you're going to do your first spike stitch, which will go down in the base of this very middle double crochet from the group under the space you're working in. So you're going to go wrap your yarn, insert your hook in between the two, like the V of the base, stick it through and check to see if it's between the V, and it wasn't, so I have to change it and put it through. Grab my yarn, pull it through, And now pull it up so that this part does not get pulled down. If I pull it too tight, it's going to pull that down. I don't want to do that. I want to pull that up loose so this does not get pulled down. And then finish my double crochet. And then I have to find that chain space again and put my third double crochet in there. So the second double crochet is the spike stitch, and it goes down in there, and then that's the third. And it's going to be the same for the next one. Do one double crochet in the space, come find that middle double crochet, yarn over, stick my hook into the base there in between the two parts, go back here, make sure it's doing the same thing back there, yarn over, pull up, finish my double crochet, find that space, do the third double crochet. Now here's the peak. In the peak, you have to spread that out a little to find that chain from the previous row. So you're going to do one double crochet like regular in that chain space. The second double crochet is going to go down here. So you're going to insert it into this space and go around that chain in between the groups from the previous. Pull it up so it doesn't pull this chain down. Finish your double crochet, and I always have to scoot it over a little. And then do double crochet to finish that group of 3. Chain 2. Do one in that chain, that top chain space. Spread it out a little. Do the second of the 3 down in there again like that other one. Pulling it up and making sure you're not dragging that down. And I had to scoot it over a little to find that chain space in there. I just automatically do it now. So that's your peak with the spikes. See, it's going in between the groups from the previous round. Row. Now, this is going to be just like the other side. You're going to do one regular double crochet, one spike into the base of this one, go in between, there, in between, pull it through, pull it up, finish that double crochet, go in that space again with that double crochet. And then again, you're going to go in this space and do one double crochet down into this here again. So in between, there's 2 pieces right there. 1, 2. I'm going to go in between that, go back here, and shift it so I'm in between the 2 pieces of that stitch. So it's right in the middle. Pull it through, pull it up, finish that double crochet, find the space again, do that double crochet. And now here's the valley. You're going to skip that space like usual and go to this space here, and then your spike stitch will go to this space, and your spike stitch will go into this stitch here. So you're skipping this space, moving to this space, put your first double crochet in right there. Oof, that was pretty loose, so I'm going to take that out and fix that. Now, one of the ways you can do that is if you just pull that a little snugger than what you would think you would want it. And then that kind of tightens that up a little bit. There's your first double crochet. Now the spike is going to go down in this here and between the two there. There we go. Pull it up, finish the double crochet, find the space. There's the double crochet. Okay, so that's your peak. You're still skipping that space there, going to the next space, and you're just going to line it up and put the peak in the group that's right below. So your next group is going to go in this space here. So you're going to go first double crochet, second one is a spike, so we're going in the middle again. Got to get that middle in the back. There we go. Got to find the space. There's that. Alright, and now we're in the peak again. And there we go. I spread it out a little so I can find that easy. Double crochet. Now do the spike down in that space here. Pull it up. Make sure it's not pulling that chain down. Do the third double crochet of the group. Chain 2. First double crochet. Second one is going down here. It's a spike. Pull it up nice and loose. Find the gap. Third double crochet. There's the next peak. Then the next space, there's double crochet. I'll show you again. There's 2 pieces. So I'm going to go in between and look back here and go, where is it? Right there. In between right there. Yarn over, pull it up. There we go. One more. There's that. And then skip that last group and double crochet in the top of that. If it's a chain 3, it'll be the top of the chain 3, or if it's a standing double crochet, it's the top of the standing double crochet. Or chainless starting double crochet, whichever method you're using, technique you're using. So I flipped it over and this is the back. See, I'm paying close attention to where those are coming out on the back so it looks nice on both sides. And again, now this is the second row of the color change. The first row has spikes. The second row doesn't have spikes except for in the peak. So here we go. You're going to do your chain 3 or your starting double crochet in the same color. Skip this group, go to this space and do 3 double crochet. Just regular double crochet. And then go to the next space and do 3 regular double crochet. And then go to the next space Do 1 double crochet, and then your spike like you did in the previous row down in that chain. Make sure you're not pulling that down. Do your regular double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Now the spike, and don't forget to spread that out. Find that chain. Now find that gap. Do your double crochet. There's your peak. Right there. Next, you're going to do just 3 double crochet in these spaces. So the only place that's getting spikes on this row is the peaks. And the valleys do not get spikes in this row. See, there's that one. Here's a valley, so we're skipping 1, going to the next. 1, 2, 3. Then next one, 1, 2, 3. We're at a peak again, so I spread that out. Do regular double crochet. The spike double crochet, regular double crochet, chain 2, regular double crochet, spiked double crochet, scooch, find the gap, regular double crochet. And then we go to the next space. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet. Next space is 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet in the top of that one. That's it for round 2 of that color. So it's essentially round 4 of the whole thing. Okay, now that you've finished the first 2 rows of the first section that has the spike stitches, then you're gonna go to the next color and join it. And now I'm going to show you these ones because it's slightly different placement, but it's still the same. It's just going to look a little different because of you're now putting your spike stitches in spike stitches instead of just a regular double crochet. So you do the chain 3 the first one, go to the next space. You're just going to skip this group, go to the next space. Do your first double crochet as regular, and then you're gonna yarn over and you're gonna insert your hook between these 2 threads of that spike stitch. These 2 threads of that spike stitch. And see how this is kind of twisted there? I just kind of untwisted a little as much as I can. It really doesn't matter too much. Put it in between. Make sure that I am not catching any of this row down here, this lighter color. I want to be above that, between those 2, and then look on the back and put it between the 2 pieces of that stitch 2. See, there's one, there's the other, and you can manipulate it if you want, but it's not going to make that big of a difference, I don't think. Pull it up and complete your spike stitch. Same as before. The only difference is you're putting it into a previous spike stitch rather than a previous regular double crochet. And the rest of it is going to be the same. Find your space to put the next double crochet in, and there's your first spike stitch. Now you can also take time to sort these out as soon as you make them if you want, to make sure they're straight. I don't usually do that. Sometimes I do. It depends on how badly twisted it is. Most of the time I just let it go until I get back to it. And then the next one again is your double crochet, and this one is sometimes a little more difficult because these are kind of crammed in there together and oddly shaped sometimes, kind of curved, so you just have to be a little more attentive to where you're putting it and not catching any other stitch, and make sure you're looking to get in between there, yarn over, pull up, finish the double crochet, find the gap again, put your stitch in. So there's the second one, and then again it's the same, the peaks are the same, still gonna be regular double crochet and then a spike down here in this chain. Excuse me. And then pull it up. Make sure you're going up far enough so you're not pulling that chain down. Finish that one. And this is exactly the same as the previous one because there's nothing different about this chain. It's the same. Still doing double crochet, spike double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, spike double crochet, and double crochet. And then here again, you're going to the group that's directly below the space in that center one. You go in between the two, in the base, above the row before. Make sure it's getting in between the two threads of that base. Yarn over, pull up, complete, double. Find the gap. I always have to feel it myself. It helps. Finish the next double. And there's another space right there. Double. And then go in there. Get it between the two. Pull up. Finish the double. Double. And then we're again skipping this space here and going on to this space because that's the valley with the next double, and then this group here is below this space, so our spike is going to go into this one between the two pieces right there, and then get it in between the two pieces here, pull it up, complete the double, double, and the next space into the spike, complete the double, find the gap, do the next double. We're at a peak again. Spread it out. Do the spike and make sure you're pulling that up and making sure that chain will come up. 1, 2, double, spike, double, and there's double, and then here's another one of those ones. The ones right next to the peaks are going to be the tricky ones because these get kind of compressed together, and sometimes this stitch can be under here a little bit, or the same over here, that this stitch can be under that. So you want to make sure you're being attentive to that and not grabbing any piece of that other stitch next to it, putting it through between both. Pull it up, complete the double, do the other double, one more group with a spike, there's that one, and one more double, there's that last group, oops, and then double crochet in the top of this, the first double crochet of the previous round. And then that's the first row, the spike row of the first color, and you can see how it's getting these. I see them as little hearts, honestly. They're like hearts inside of hearts, I guess. And then turn your work. And then this one will be exactly the same as round 4. You're just going to do, nope, I'm not doing that right. You're not double crocheting in that space. That space always gets skipped. You're double crocheting in this space. 3 double crochet. Just 3 regular double crochets like a granny stitch. Granny cluster? I don't know what to call it. And then 3 more double crochet in this space. And then 1 double crochet, spike, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, spike, double crochet, and then 3 in the next space, right there, 3 in the next space, skip this space because that's the valley, 3 in the next space, three in the next space, and your peak, double crochet, spike, make sure you're separating those, double crochet, chain 2, don't know where that fuzz came from, double crochet, spike, double crochet, and 1, 2, 3 in the next space, 1, 2, 3, and then there we go. That's that. And then here's, see, the edges end up mostly straight. You may want to do an extra stitch in an extra chain or an extra single crochet and skip an extra on this side and maybe one more on this side. I don't know. And I'm not a professional pattern writer. I just do what works for me. But for the most part, these are ending up straight edges. There's the one edge. I gotta sew in these ends. It's pretty straight up. There's that edge. Goes straight up for the most part. Down here is a little wonky. But it should be fine. So there you have it. The remainder of the blanket, you'll be repeating what I just did in the red, because you're going to be going spike it stitch into a spike stitch. So you'll be repeating round 5 and 6 pretty much.